Good morning, wrestling fans. Today is Friday, January 6th, 2023. Or January 7th, is it? I don't even remember. Let me check. Yes, I was right the first time. January 6th. I got a little distracted. I am going to talk about some of the picks, the last picks of my best of for 2022. But first, just as I was about to record this episode, got breaking news from the WrestleFeed app that said Vince McMahon has been reinstated to the WWE Board of Directors. Haven't had a chance to read it just yet. I just saw the alert that came up on my phone from the app. And last night, there was a bunch of notifications about Vince McMahon saying he's holding WWE hostage and WWE needs him back to negotiate the deals with Fox and NBC Universal that are coming up later this year. And he wants to sell WWE. And which was funny because I saw somebody post the video back from 2002 when Ric Flair was co-owner and they were doing that storyline, and he did that video of him wanting to kill his own creation, and that's when he announced he was going to bring back the NWO. So a lot of Vince McMahon things going on in the news. But now let's get to what I was originally going to talk about on this episode, the Subfilm. A few last picks to wrap up the week for this Friday. Some of my picks for the best of 2002. I've been doing them all week. If you missed any episodes, you can go back and listen anytime. And I just wanted to start a pretty big promotion of the year. I just want to say New Japan had a pretty good year, bouncing back from like the last couple years and from COVID that really affected them. And even this last year, they were still kind of strict, no cheering being allowed at the shows. And then this year at Wrestle Kingdom, they were allowed to cheer. And also Stardom, another Japanese promotion, had a very good year. And Impact Wrestling, it's probably getting the last few years or so the least amount of attention out of all the other promotions. But the in-ring product, the TV show, the pay-per-views have been very good as of late, and I wish more people would definitely give Impact a chance and check them out. Speaking of Impact, 1 week from tonight, Hard to Kill. Like I said, check them out. You can order the pay-per-view on Fight, and I'm sure your local pay-per-view provider. Should be a very good show. Definitely worth checking out. Now back to promotion of the year. I have to go with AEW, to be honest. I know a lot of people have been criticizing AEW this year and Tony Khan, and of course he had the trouble with the Elite and CM Punk at the All Out Media Scrum. But As far as the TV product goes, and I know Rampage, the ratings are not so good, but the shows are very good though. Really good matches, and as far as all the wrestling shows that are on TV right now, more often than not, the show that I enjoy the most every week is Dynamite. And the pay-per-views this year they have put on have been great. And they even added one with Forbidden Door, a joint pay-per-view with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it was still kind of treated as AEW pay-per-view. But WWE though, yes, they have improved this year after Vince left, or stopped running the day-to-day operations anyway, and Triple H took over. So we'll have to see, with the breaking news I just mentioned, we'll have to see what happens there. And pay-per-view of the year, that's a tough one. But I might have to go maybe AEW Revolution. I could be wrong, but just thinking at the top of my head, I know I should have been more prepared, should have took notes, made a list. But if you listen to this podcast, that's no surprise that I'm not prepared. But I have to go with probably AEW Revolution. And for my favorite moment of the year, it's a selfish one, but I'd have to probably say Blood and Guts, because being there live here at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, I thought it was a great show. Had the Blood and Guts episode of Dynamite, and then had the first ever Royal Rampage on that episode. And I'm top to bottom. It was a very good show, especially being there live here in Detroit. We had a hot crowd all night, and I've heard people even say that the crowds between AEW and WWE shows, you go to a WWE show and sometimes they start off hot, really into the action, and then going into the show, especially like a 3-hour Raw, they kind of die down a bit, but then kind of pick up for the main event. But at Dynamite, they were hot even during the Dark Elevation tapings and all the way till Rampage, in which the Dark Elevation tapings do go by quick. The enhancement talent doesn't get an entrance. They just walk down in between the matches, and then whoever the star going over is gets their entrance, and then they just boom, nail them right out of the park, back to back. And so that was a great moment for me anyway. And also, I think a great moment was MJF winning the AEW World title, even though it was kind of hot-shotted after the All Out incident that they put the title on him. And just making up an award, Heel of the Year. If you have that, you definitely gotta give that to Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I don't know who right now is a better heel in pro wrestling, and I think 2023, it's safe to say it could definitely be the year of MJF in pro wrestling. But who knows? That's just my opinion. Tonight, Friday, we have Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage right after, and Battle of the Belts 5 on TNT. And next Friday night, Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill on pay-per-view, which right now has a great card lined up so far. I talked about Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill last night, or Impact Wrestling, the weekly show, I should say, on 360 Wrestling Fanatic last night, so give that a listen if you haven't heard it yet. Also, I made a big mistake, I think, when I was talking about my pick for my favorite matches of 2022 yesterday, so I just want to go back and add a match that I think I forgot to mention, and I'm disappointed in myself for forgetting this one. From Ring of Honor Final Battle, the dog collar match between FTR and the Briscoes. FTR, normally the technical wrestling team, and the Briscoes more of a brawling street fight team, but they were great in this match. Both teams, it was a bloody mess. Even the referee got busted open in this one. But really though, all three of the matches with FTR and the Briscoes this year were definitely could be in the discussion for match of the year. And to go back to another moment of the year maybe a news story of the year, I should say. I read Tony Khan that was last year, yeah. Or was it? It might have been 2022. Maybe it was around January or so. But if it wasn't 2002, that would be one of them, Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. And of course, I'm sure the biggest news story of 2022 is obviously Vince McMahon stepping down as CEO of WWE. And it doesn't look like that is going to be over, or at least not in the beginning of 2023, anytime soon anyway. Unfortunately, it looks like that's going to continue into the new year. But we'll have to just wait and see what happens there. And that's all for this episode. Good morning, wrestling fans. Thank you for anyone who tuned in all week. We'll be back tomorrow morning. You're going to do the weekends too. Not sure what I'm going to talk about yet, but I'll be here tomorrow morning right here, Spreaker, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Thank you again. Don't forget to stay tuned for episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hope everyone has a great day. Keep watching pro wrestling.